got a zucchini I want to collect the seed from. You can see where I chopped off the leaves growing upwards. They start to kind of wither, and also the plant becomes extremely bushy, over bushy. And so I'd say it's probably got about 8 foot on this vine. But when I started saving this seed squash, as you can see here, it's starting to change color. When I started saving that, all the production stopped, more or less stopped through here. And now that this seed squash is starting to turn, it'll turn a lighter color. It may even turn completely orange. I've never saved seed from this variety before. It's a Romanesco, so I'm not sure exactly, but based on what I'm looking at, it'll probably turn completely orange. But it is ready right now to collect the seed. And one of the things indicative of a summer squash, what do you call it, a delicate summer squash, like a yellow crookneck or a early straight neck or a zucchini, is a lot of times the squash, when you put a seed squash, when a seed squash is growing, it puts all its energy in there because it's trying to reproduce. It's trying to put all the energy into seed for the next generation. And so not only does it start fruiting, but when the squash seed is ready, that plant is exhausted and it's ready to give up the ghost. And that's kind of what I've noticed in almost all the summer squashes. The winter squashes are a little hardier. They can keep the seed squash on. In fact, many seed squash, they've been bred to do that. But a lot of the delicate summer squashes, they just kind of give up the ghost. I've taken the squash, and this thing is probably 5 to 7 pounds just from the feel of it. I'm not going to weigh it. It's not really important what it weighs. I can just tell you from about here down, this thing is loaded with seed. And being the fact that it's starting to turn color, I am going to make the assumption that it's very, very loaded with mature seed. Alright, we're in the house. Let's get the seeds out of this thing. This is the zucchini. It's very similar to the yellow summer. The seed is mostly going to be in this part of the squash here where it's a little bit bulbous. I'm going to cut right here, so I highly anticipate that there's not much, if any, seed going this direction. So let's make that cut and I'll bring you back. And there it is, cut. Stuck my finger up in here when I wanted to test the pliability of the material. See if it's good for any other use, and I imagine it can be cooked still, but there's really no seeds in this side. Now we're going to do like we did with the summer squash, and we're going to cut down one entire side, and over this side we're not going to slice straight down the middle, because if we did, we'd cut into some seeds. So just cut along this side, the other side, and then we'll twist it. Just want to show you what I'm talking about here. Just cut about over to where it starts getting the beginning of the seed cavity on both sides. This is one side done. We'll do the other, and it should break apart real easy. And there it is, cut in half. Pretty easy to see already that the seed is going to be viable. It's nice and thick, and that's usually the case if you wait till it turns color. The difference is with the yellow squash, I don't know if it's just my yellow squash, but you got to leave it on way past this, what I would call this stage here. I would say even 2 to 3 weeks longer. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about that yellow squash. Maybe it's just the variety I'm breeding. But anyway, these are going to be really good seeds. And all I have to do here, you see some people will take a spoon, scoop it out, but I'll just use my fingers and just kind of do it like this. And there's not much material attached to it, so I'll give it a rinse. And we'll put it on a plate to dry out. How much you do this, it really depends on how much of the seed you want. You can get every last seed out, or you can get out, well, there's probably 150 to 200 seed there. Generally yellow squash, the size that I take anyway, they'll produce about 100 squash. This one is significantly more because it's a bigger variety. But in case you didn't know, yellow squash and zucchini are both in the same family. They're both Cucurbitaceae. And even though it's zucchini and we say squash, overseas they say marrow, Cucurbitaceae is all the same. That includes some pumpkins and many different varieties, including winter squash like acorn and delicata. There are other species of cucurbitácea. There's machata and mixta, and I'm forgetting one, but I think there's like 4 primary ones and 1 minor one. But the species can't interbreed. Pepo, so I could cross this with a yellow squash if I want to, or a pumpkin, or an acorn. That's about it. Or many other Pepo type varieties. If you want to find out what variety you're growing, it's easy. Just go online and look up the seed and it'll tell you which variety, which species of the cucurbita is. Anyway, butternuts, I believe, are machata. It's a different species, so a butternut and a zucchini will not cross. Well, they can do it in a lab sometimes, but that's beyond us. And not in a lab, but significant breeding. The success is very, very small between the machata and or maybe it's the mixta and the pepo. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can grow butternuts and summer squash and they're not going to cross. So that's the seed. And I'll give it a rinse and then we'll leave it on this plate. Label it. I'll mark it what it is. And we'll leave it on this plate for a day. And then just like the old squash, tomorrow morning I'll just come and move it so it's not really sticking to the plate. And after that, all I have to do is shake it like this and leave it for a couple weeks to dry, and then you can put it up. That's all there is to it.